In the spirit of resumption, schools in Malta resumed earlier this week. I'll be talking about the education system and schooling basically in Malta, okay? Right, so if you plan on moving to Malta or you already live here and you have children, or you do not even have children but then you plan on having children in the future, then this video is for you. Hi again, I am back with another video. I hope you're not tired of seeing my face just yet because we have like eternity to go. Thank you guys so much for the love. I am really grateful. I do not take it for granted at all. I would start by saying schooling in Malta starts at age 3 up to 16. So age 3 they go to kinder 1. Compulsory schooling starts at age 5 when they get to year 1. So if you have a 3 or a 4-year-old child and you don't want them to go to school just yet, that's fine. However, once they turn 5, it is compulsory. It is the law that they go to school up till the age of 16. Once they turn 3, they go to kinder 1, and then after kinder 2, most schools do like graduation ceremony and the rest, and they go on to year 1. So from year 1 to year 6, those are the primary years. And after year 6, they write a benchmark exam. After these exams, they go on to form 1. The exams, I think whether you pass or fail, I think you'll still go on to form 1. Before now, they had something they called junior lyceum. I think that's the pronunciation, junior lyceum, where after benchmark exams, depending on your results, depending on your scores, you go to the junior lyceum schools. So those are also those are government secondary schools that are free as well. However, it's for like the high flyers, those are very academic and all of that. So they go to that school, and then every other person that chose not to write the exams or did not get very good scores will go to other secondary schools. I think they scrapped that in 2010 due to equality and all of that. So now, after benchmark exams in year 6, everyone just goes to the secondary school in your catchment area if you are in a state school, okay? Right, so after Form 5, you write the MathSec exams. So after the MathSec exams, you do your you go for 6th form. 6th form is around 2 years. By the way, secondary school is from Form 1 to 5 years, and then 6th form is for 2 years, where you now get your A-levels afterwards, right? And then go on to university or some sort of technical or trade school, depending on what the child has chosen to do, okay? Right, so yeah, so I'll just be talking about the different kind of schools. So we have we have like 4 different kind of schools in Malta, starting from kinder, primary, and secondary years now, okay? So first of all, we have the state schools, which is like the most popular, and that's the one provided by the government, which is free of charge. You do not pay anything. However, actually, I think when we arrived in Malta, they didn't have the ID card at the time, so we had to go to Floriana to kind of register them, submitted our documents, for them to go to school, and then we had to pay that fee pending when they get their ID card. So as soon as we got our ID cards, we went back to Floriana to show proof of payment. Keep the proof of payment because we misplaced ours. But thankfully we were able to find it on the statement of account or something, and then eventually we got the refund, okay? But then that's just that's at the beginning. Going forward, even though you change school or you change location, eventually you do not have to start paying or going to Floriana for anything, right? So after we visited Floriana, they gave us the go ahead. We went to the school in our catchment area. However, wow, I remember when we were looking for the school, like it was a hassle. First of all, we were told to go to the primary school itself in the area. We went there and they sent us back to the secondary school like this. So there's a secondary school for each area, and then the different localities within that area would now have primary schools, right? So they're like, okay, we need to go to the secondary school to register, and eventually we were able to locate the school, and then I think we'll fill the particular form, indicated our address, provided proof of address, and then as much as you can go to any school in your area, it's really dependent on whether or not there will be space, because there was no space. Classes were full, so we had to wait until there was availability. It was really frustrating. Like, I think we were home for like 3 weeks or even 1 month. So when you're eventually enrolled, I mean, state schools are nice. I like the fact that they have very good grounds. I mean, a lot of space. Like, the classes were so spacious, huge classes, you know, with high ceilings, very airy, like really, really lit classes. You know, classes were really big. They have very good outer grounds, sports grounds, and facilities even in the class. They have smarts, of course, smart boards. I think they have PCs in these classes. Like, I mean, really standard classrooms, you know. So the classrooms were really nice. The environment was really good, conducive. I mean, wide corridors, like a proper, I mean, the schools were really good. Well, that particular government school was really good. And in fact, now, because of the fact that that particular area where we used to stay was so populated, so now they have a new school in the same locality, but at least this particular new school will cover the children in that particular area. So, and this school, I mean, for every new school, right, that they build now, it is so fantastic. Like, modern, very, very modern, nice structure, buildings, state-of-the-art facilities, nice. Like, and this school was completed during COVID period, so they had to factor in like all the whole COVID requirements in terms of space, social distancing. So the classes are so big, the desks are nice. Like, I really love the school. I mean, the way the school looks. And I think there are other new schools that that's one thing about state schools. They renovate as in they always refurbish, and they're always new schools bringing out, you know. Like, there's another one in Massaskala. The school is also very fine. I think there's one they're building in Msida at the moment, and one in Melia that they're currently constructing. So the schools are really, really nice in terms of, you know, how it looks and all. However, there are a few downsides, especially with regards to the standard of education. So the curriculum is kind of low, I must say. I mean, it's lower than other kind of schools in Malta and other parts of the world. Like they're like 1-2 years behind, like I mentioned in the video about cons. As a matter of fact, for some subjects like mathematics, for example, right, a child in year 4 in a state school might be using a book that someone in year 2 in another in a private school had used. Or sometimes someone in year 3, I mean, they'll be using book 3 or book 2, you know. So it's kind of low, and that's the main challenge that I see with the state school. And aside that, of course, it's government run. So I remember when my child started in a government school, he spent 1 term there, and throughout that term, I don't think he learned anything, although it was just played or true play. But it's not something we're really used to, because it was coming from Nigeria, and trust Nigeria to put a lot of pressure on the children. He could already like write 1 to 50, like he knew all his numbers, all his alphabets. He was already doing addition, and at age 4, I mean, I know that is a lot, that is too much pressure on the child. But when he now got into this school, like, it was just play basically, and coloring play throughout, you know. And aside that, there are a few other things that I really did not like about it. Eventually he moved, and the school he then moved to, the private school he moved to, I mean, they were already even using textbooks in that class. The children were already learning to really read well, and I mean, they were already doing like academic stuff, you know. I mean, it all depends on our preferences at the end of the day. Some people might really not want all of the academic and all, and some people, you know, would lean towards state school. So it all depends on one's preferences, right? Well, I believe that every child is super smart, and there should be no limitation, in my own opinion. I mean, I see some parents, like, they enroll their child in a lot of extracurricular activities, you know, to develop a lot of soft skills and learn a lot of other things. I mean, sewing, programming, music, sports. I mean, all these kind of extracurricular activities. Some even actually enroll their children in extra lessons, you know, just to cover up in terms of the curriculum, and also prepare for the benchmark exams. Although I'm not really a fan of primary school children already doing extra lessons. I mean, I feel that's just a whole lot, you know. But then I think you can teach your children at home. Okay, so that's it about state schools, right? And then we have church schools. Church schools are fantastic. They are very, very fantastic, high standard, like, they are very, very good. Church schools are run by the Catholic Church, right? So it's very Catholic oriented. I mean, I know you do not really have to be a Catholic to attend the school, but I think you need to be baptized. No, but I don't think that is for all schools though. Not every church school requires the child to be baptized. You might need to find that out, but I mean, it's run by the Catholics. That doesn't mean that, oh, you'll be saying like your rosary all day and all of that. They are very, very academic as well, and they have very good standards, right? By the way, in state schools, they teach both in Maltese and in English, but I find that it's majorly in Maltese though, depending on the area. I think in an area where there are a lot of experts, right, they tend to really, really balance out both very well. Okay, so then in church schools, I think they teach in English, and I think they speak Maltese as well, right? Not too sure, I would have to find out, but basically, so church schools are really good. The way you enter into this school is through ballot system, really. I know they have a lot of preferences for maybe if you have a sibling in the school, or if you're a teacher's child, or if you have some needs and one need or the other. I mean, so it's the rest of the available spaces that will now be thrown to the public, and so that's when they now do the ballot, do the ballot system, and if you're lucky, you get picked. So basically, that is how and I think the ballot system is usually done in February, and it's done at the kinder stage, when the child is about going to kinder 1, I think kinder 2, I'm not sure, and then when you're going into year 1 at age 5, they do another ballot, and then I think the next ballot after year 1 is Form 1 secondary school. I'm not sure if they do. I think it's only if they have maybe available spaces, and they will always talk about it. I would link the website here where you could check to apply at the church school for the ballot system, and just to know more about it, right? So that is how it works. You go in through the ballot system if you are lucky, right? And by the way, church schools are same sex, so it's either a boys only school or a girls only school. But I know that there are a few schools that are mixed actually at some levels. I know St. Aloysius. Oh wow, by the way, that is an amazing school, a fantastic school. Like, St. Aloysius is a really, really good school. Like, they are run by the J Suite, and of course, from what we know about J Suits, I mean, they are really, really, their standard is really high, right? So St. Aloysius, and I think there are a few other schools that are mixed, especially when it's the primary years. I'm not sure about secondary. You do not pay any school fee to attend the church school. However, there is the donation that you pay every year, just to kind of support the day-to-day running of the school. So there's a donation. I don't think there's a particular fee, but I know that it is usually not too expensive. So I think it could be 300, 400, 500 per year, really. And I've seen instances where, for example, the family really cannot afford to pay the donation, and they would kind of waive it off. But there's a donation that you pay. Some people even decide to just pay a lot more depending on how much you can afford, I think. Sorry, I didn't mention, for state school, schooling is free, transportation is free, books are free for state school. How amazing, right? Books are free as well. I think the only thing you need to pay for to go to a state school is just the school uniform and stationaries. That's it. For church schools, you need to buy your books. Even though the school fee is free, you need to buy your books and your uniform, right? Transportation is free as well. And then for private schools, it's run independently, and it comes at a fee. You pay tuition fee, and for resources, you pay high school fee. I mean, it's a very wide range though. As you go higher, the school fee goes higher as well. So it could start from as low as possibly 500 euros now to like 2,800 euros per term. So in a year, you could be paying as high as 6,000. What am I saying? 9,000 euros, because there are 3 terms a year. You could be paying as high as 9,000 euros, 10,000 euros per year. So it all depends on the school that that particular school in question, right? But then there's a tax rebate that applies to you if you pay school fee in a private school. I think there are about 10 private schools in Malta. I will list them here. Okay, so there's a tax rebate that applies. The tax rebate was increased by 300 euros 2 years ago, right? So you pay, so you get a tax rebate depending on what class the child is in. So if the child is in kindergarten, you get a tax rebate of 1,600 euros per year. And then if the child is in primary school, you get as high as you get a tax rebate of 1,900, and then in secondary school you get a tax rebate of 2,600. Mind you, they're not giving you like 2,600 like in cash, like full like that. I mean, it's just that 2,600 will not be taxed. It's really not a lot, but I mean, it is something really, right? Just to kind of reduce the burden a little bit just because you have chosen to send your child to a private school. But I don't know, I can't even really say how much we've gotten, because they're always giving us like tax refunds. But to be honest, I've actually not checked to see what those refunds were. I know, yes, so because last year I think we got around, wow, we got like 3 checks last year for tax refunds, so I'm not sure which is which, to be honest. Yes, we got like 800 euros tax refund. We got another 750 euros, and then we got another, I can't remember the figures, but we got 3 or 4 actually, 3 tax refunds. So private schools, they have different, some might decide to follow a particular, most of them follow the Maltese curriculum though, but you might decide to, twist it according to what you think suits the children. I mean, it's privately run anyway, so but then there are usually guidelines, standards that they need to follow. Yes, you cannot just say, okay, you have a private school and then it will be crap. No, it has to like meet up to the standards and even higher and exceed those standards. Private schools are really good. I mean, at least I can speak for where my kids attend. It is a fantastic school. Like, it's a really small school, but I kind of like smaller schools for at lower, as in, I mean, when they are younger. It's a small school, it's a Christian school, values exceptional. I mean, these are the things that really matter to me. It's a very disciplined school. They don't tolerate nonsense. It's a very disciplined school. They have high academic standards, like really, really high academic standards. Doesn't break the bank. And I remember when we started, I think we were paying around, per year, we're paying around 1,000 euros for both. No, so I think per year we're paying a little less than 1,000 euros. No, what am I saying? Sorry, per year I think we're paying a little less than 3,000 euros when we started at that time, not now, because it keeps increasing. But I know we're paying less than 3,000 euros for the 2 children every year. And I remember when we calculated it, we were like, wow, per term was around 900, if I'm not mistaken, at that time, when they started for both of them. And I remember when, I think that was what even motivated us, because when we calculated it, we compared it to what we used to pay in Nigeria. In Nigeria, if we're going to still stay in the country, the next time, we already saw the bill and we're like, oh my God. The next session, we are going to be paying around 1.2 million naira per year for one child. We calculated them, we're like, oh, this is even, way lower. This is lower than what we used to pay in Nigeria. I mean, so it all depends on you. It all depends on what one wants, really, okay? And the truth of the matter is that the fact that the child would go to a private school is not a determinant factor in whether the child will be successful or not. I've seen really, really great minds come out of state schools. I've seen really, really intelligent, brilliant people who are making an impact in their world come out of state schools, church schools, private schools. So we all know that grooming a child, training a child is a joint effort. It is not for the school alone. It is not for, parents have to be very intentional and put in the work. The parents, the school, the child as well, because actually, let's not even deny the fact that the child also really, depending on what the child wants. We are parents, we are there to kind of guide and advise them accordingly, but I feel that it all still depends on the child. But I really also know and believe that it is what they see you do. It is what you impact in them really that matters at the end of the day. Because I know that some people will say, oh, You should not pressure the child too much to study, oh no, books, and it should not be too academic. But let's not even deny the fact that we're in a very competitive world. Things would always get harder. They would grow, and out there in the real world, there'll be a lot of challenges. They will need to really challenge their brain, they will need to challenge their minds, they will need to, put in the work. I mean, there will be no opportunity to be laid back in the real world, and of course we cannot deny the fact that aside academics, there's values as well, there's morals, there's good behavior. I mean, it's a whole package, right? So one has to really, really be intentional, go the extra mile in just grooming these children, basically. So aside the state school, church, and the private schools, we have the international schools. I think there are just 2 international schools in Malta. They do not run the Maltese curriculum. So I mean, I know one runs the American curriculum. Very expensive. I was talking about 2,500 euros per term in other schools. I'm sure these international schools, you'll be starting from 5,000 euros per term. Yeah, and there are a lot of people who go there, so fingers are not equal at the end of the day. So, and of course it depends on, for example, if you want your child to maybe study in America or in another school eventually, that would be a good platform for them. However, even though a child is in a state school, private or church schools, I know of some students who, after their A-levels or O-levels, they will actually travel, go to America, go to the United Kingdom or other European countries to actually further their studies. Okay, so by the way, in all of these schools I mentioned, in the church, private, and state schools, the government provides learn pads like tablets in year 4 that the children uses in school to aid their learning. So from year 4 then to year 6, I don't know if the secondary school years use it, but basically the government provides it free of charge. So depending on, no matter what school your child is in. And aside the learn pads that the government provides for free, the government also provides free transportation for all 3 schools. So even though your child is in a private school, initially it wasn't free, but I think it was just in 2017 or so, or 2018, that they made it free. So your child gets to ride on the free transportation to school, to and from school, even though the child is in a private school. So if, for example, no matter where you live, there will be a school van to take your child to school and bring your child back. I like the fact that no matter what, like, the government is just out, it's just there to kind of support the child in one way or the other, right? The tax rebate, there's a tax rebate, so by the way, for private schools, they also get to buy their school uniform, they get to buy their books and pay for pay the school fee, right? I know that although the school also provides some other books, some other resources that we don't pay for free of charge, but those are just extra stuff that they do. So after secondary school, we have sixth form, they go to either the junior college. University of Malta has a junior college. They could go to MCAST, the Malta College of Arts and Science and Technology, and they could go to a few other private institutions like St. Aloysius, that's the church school I talked about. There's the DeSalle College, and I think there are other colleges that they can go to for A-levels. By the way, you see the St. Aloysius and the DeSalle, I don't know if that's the pronunciation, the DeSalle College. Those schools, they are top-notch, fantastic schools. Schools that you attend, and after, like, once you are done, your mind will be transformed. You have a complete transformation. But then obviously it's very competitive to go into these colleges, for these private colleges for sixth form. You have to be like a high flyer, like possibly get all A's, straight A's before you can even gain entry into these schools. But they are amazing schools, trust me. I've seen some students and I'm like, wow, their imagination, their ideas and everything is just it's just top notch. Remember that at the end of the day, for all of these schools, it's for us as parents to just kind of encourage and support the child and be very intentional about the child. We did not bring a child to this world just to fold our hands and watch magic happen. No way. One has to really put in the work 100%. So that will be all about education in Malta. If you have any questions, to let me know, and I would not hesitate to respond to you. Thank you so much, guys, for the love. I am really grateful. Do not forget to subscribe, like, and share the video.